The bouncer found me in the VIP section, mascara streaking down my face, surrounded by broken champagne flutes and $3,000 in singles. The music had stopped. The lights were on full blast, that harsh fluorescent reality that strips away all the fantasy. And Garrett, sweet, lying, married Garrett, was backing away from me like I was radioactive. "Destiny, you need to leave," Big Mike said, his hand gentle on my shoulder despite the destruction around us. "Now," I laughed. Not a cute laugh, the kind that makes people uncomfortable, the kind that comes from realizing you've been the punchline to a joke you didn't know was being told. "Destiny's not even my real name," I said, stumbling over glass in my 7-inch platforms. "It's Rebecca. Rebecca Fielding from Fresno." "But you can't make money as Rebecca from Fresno, can you?" That was the first truth I'd told in years. Maybe that's why it felt so strange in my mouth. Garrett was already at the door, probably calculating how he'd explain the scratches on his face to his wife. 3 perfect parallel lines down his left cheek where my acrylics had caught him. He'd told me he liked my nails earlier tonight. "So pretty, baby. Like little daggers. Be careful what you wish for." The other customers were recording with their phones, because of course they were. By morning, I'd be viral. "Stripper goes crazy at Diamonds LA," or something equally clever. I could see tomorrow's Reddit threads already. The memes, the hot takes about sex work and mental health. But they didn't know what led to this moment. They didn't know about the text I'd seen on Garrett's phone. They didn't know about the group chat. They didn't know about the bet. They didn't know that 30 minutes ago I'd been calculating how many offshore accounts I'd need to hide the money I was planning to steal. Let me rewind 8 hours. 11 p.m. I was in the dressing room, gluing on my second set of lashes, when the new girl asked the question that haunted all of us. "Do you think any of them actually care about us?" "Honey," said Raven, who'd been dancing for 15 years, "they care about the fantasy." Soon as you remember that, this job gets a lot easier. But I'd forgotten that rule. I'd let Garrett make me forget. Actually, that's not true. I knew exactly what I was doing. I'd targeted Garrett from the moment he walked in 6 months ago. Armani suit, Patek Philippe watch, that particular combination of loneliness and entitlement that meant easy money. I'd done my research. LinkedIn told me he was managing director at Silverman Associates. Instagram showed the wife, the kids, the Malibu house. The wedding ring tan line told me he was ripe for the picking. "You're different," he'd say, tucking hundreds into my garter. "Not like the other girls here." Every man said that. It was the oldest line in the book. But I had a talent for making them believe I believed it. That was my gift. I'd give them a small, shy smile. I'd look away, like I was embarrassed by the compliment. I'd let my hand rest on their arm just a second too long. I made them feel powerful, like they were the first ones to ever see the real me. In reality, they were just another mark. And I was calculating exactly how much I could extract. I'd played this game before. There was Douglas, the pharmaceutical executive who'd paid my rent for 6 months before his wife found out. Kumar, the tech founder who'd bought me a Mercedes I'd immediately sold for cash. There was the married dentist in Riverside who'd tried to kill himself after I'd drained his children's college funds. And there was Tiffany, yes, another dancer, whose regular I'd stolen by telling him she had HIV. She'd quit dancing, last I heard. Moved back to Nebraska. My cons weren't just about money. They were about winning. But Garrett was going to be my masterpiece, my retirement plan. "You're different," he'd say, tucking hundreds into my garter. "Not like the other girls here." Every man said that. But Garrett seemed to mean it. He knew I was taking online classes at UCLA Extension. He remembered my cat's name. He'd even helped me with my statistics homework once, explaining standard deviations while I sat on his lap in a thong and pasties. "I'm falling for you, Becca," he'd whispered last week. Never Destiny, always Becca, like he saw the real me underneath the glitter and lies. I'd let him believe that. Hell, I'd crafted that illusion carefully. The community college textbooks I'd leave visible in my locker when I knew he'd walk by. The fake study sessions I'd mention. Even my statistics homework was just printouts from the internet. I'd never set foot in a UCLA classroom, extension or otherwise. But men like Garrett needed to believe they were saving smart girls with potential, not high school dropouts who'd learned to weaponize their bodies. "I believe in your future," he'd say, and I'd tear up on cue. Academy Award worthy. Meanwhile, I was texting 2 other regulars from the bathroom, setting up private parties that Garrett didn't know about. Why put all your eggs in one basket when you could have multiple revenue streams? My shift started like any other. Stage set at midnight to pour some sugar on me because the DJ had no imagination. A bachelor party that got too handsy. I let them, then complained to management for a bigger tip. A businessman who wanted to talk about his divorce while I pretended his loneliness wasn't contagious, and mentally calculated how much sympathy was worth per hour. Then Garrett arrived at 1:30, earlier than usual. "Rough day?" I asked, leading him to our usual VIP booth. "You could say that." He ordered a bottle of Dom, the good stuff, not the overpriced garbage we usually pushed. "I need to tell you something." My heart did that stupid flutter thing. This was it. He was finally going to leave his wife. We'd talked about it in abstract terms, me pretending I didn't know about the wedding ring tan line, him pretending he wasn't exactly like every other married man who wandered into diamonds. "I'm getting promoted," he said. "Managing director." "But it means relocating." Oh. I kept my smile professional even as my stomach dropped. "Where?" "Singapore. It's a 3-year minimum placement." That's great. Congratulations." "Come with me." I stopped mid-dance. "What?" "I'm serious. Come with me. I'll set you up in an apartment. You can finish your degree there. Real university, not online classes. I'll take care of everything." "Garrett, I can't just..." "Why not?" "What's keeping you here?" He gestured around the VIP section with its sticky floors and desperate glamour. "This?" "You're better than this place, Becca." "What about your wife?" The question hung between us like smog. We'd never said it out loud before. "We're separated," he said quickly. "Have been for months. Just haven't filed the papers yet. Waiting for the kids to finish school." "The kids?" He'd never mentioned kids before. Perfect. Kids meant guilt. Guilt meant bigger payoffs. "How old are they?" 16 and 14. "But that's not..." "Listen, Becca, I love you. I know this is fast, but I love you. Let me take you away from all this." 3 years of dancing, and I'd heard every line. But sitting there in that VIP booth, with the bass thumping through my chest and Garrett's eyes so earnest, I let him see me consider it. I'd already researched Singapore's extradition laws. No treaty with the US for financial crimes under a certain amount. If I could get him to put me on his accounts, transfer enough before he realized. "I need to think," I said, biting my lip in that way I'd practiced in the mirror. "Of course! Take your time. I don't leave for 2 weeks." He kissed me then, right there in the club, breaking the cardinal rule. No kissing. Never kissing. That was for girlfriends, not strippers. But I kissed him back, already thinking about how much I could get him to transfer for moving expenses. The rest of my shift passed in a blur of calculations. An apartment in Singapore would need deposits. I'd need a new wardrobe for the climate. Living expenses while I studied. I figured I could milk at least 100,000 before he caught on. At 3 a.m., I was back in VIP with Garrett, celebrating with champagne I shouldn't have been drinking on the clock. His phone kept buzzing on the table. "You should get that," I said. "Mine might be important." "Nothing's more important than this moment." But he picked it up anyway, frowning at the screen. "Just some guys from work. They're being idiots." He set the phone down, screen up. That was his mistake. Or maybe it was my mistake for looking. But there it was, clear as day in the preview. A WhatsApp group called Diamonds and Pearls. I call dibs on the redhead when Garrett dumps his. My blood went cold. What's that group? Nothing. Just dash dash. I grabbed the phone before he could stop me. He tried to snatch it back, but I was already scrolling up. 3 years of perfecting my reflexes dodging grabby hands had some benefits. The group had 8 members. All men. All regulars at Diamonds. And they were rating us, like Yelp reviews for human beings. Destiny, 7 out of 10. Butterface but incredible ass. Claims she's in college, lol. Raven's getting too old. Someone should tell her. That new Asian chick is fire. Bet I can get her to do extras. My hands shook as I kept scrolling. Not from hurt, from pure, unfiltered rage. These men, these marks I'd been working, had their own little network. They were comparing notes, warning each other. Then I found it, the thread from 2 weeks ago. Garrett's really selling the boyfriend experience to his blonde. $50 says he can't get her to quit. I'll take that bet. She's been here 3 years. Lifers don't leave. Nah, G's got game. Watch him promise to take her to Singapore or some shit. LMAO, perfect. She'll fall for it. They always fall for the rescue fantasy. I kept reading, my rage building with each message. That's the one who got Douglas for 6 months' rent. Watch yourself. Heard she pulled the dying mother routine on some tech guy. Got a whole Mercedes. Smart but greedy. That'll be her downfall. Can't resist the big score. They knew. They all knew. My cons, my games, my strategies, they'd been tracking them like baseball statistics. And Garrett, brilliant Garrett, had used that knowledge to play me. I looked up at Garrett. He'd gone pale. Becca. You bet on me. My voice sounded strange, disconnected. You literally bet on me. It's not what it looks like. I kept reading. There were photos. Not just of me, of all of us. Creep shots taken during private dances, screenshots of our Instagram accounts, ratings of our bodies broken down by parts like we were cars for sale. Tuesday's the night. Destiny's working, going to close the deal. That was from Garrett, yesterday. Get video when she quits. That shit will be hilarious. I threw the phone at him. Not hard enough. Becca, listen. Stop calling me that. The scream tore out of me. My name is Destiny in here. That's all I am to you. That's all any of us are. Just bodies with stage names and daddy issues, right? You're overreacting. I grabbed the champagne bottle and smashed it against the table. Not to hurt him, I wasn't that far gone, but I needed to break something. Needed to make the outside match the inside. Is your wife even real? Are you even married, or was that part of the game too? He stood up, backing away. You're crazy. I try to do something nice, try to help you get out of this shithole, and you're crazy. Help me. I laughed that unhinged laugh again. You wanted to win $50. $50 fucking dollars. That's what my dignity was worth to you? The security guards were coming now. I could see Big Mike pushing through the crowd, but I wasn't done. You know what the saddest part is? I said, advancing on Garrett as he retreated. I actually thought I was different. 3 years of men treating me like meat, and I still thought one of you might see me as a person. I grabbed another bottle, the rage making me strong. But we're all just jokes to you. All just stories to share with your buddies. Remember that stripper who thought I loved her? Remember how she was going to move to Singapore? The bottle exploded against the wall. That's when Big Mike reached me. Destiny, you need to leave now. And that's how I ended up here, sitting on the curb outside Diamonds at 3:47 a.m., watching my career implode on social media in real time. Someone had posted the video already. Crazy stripper attack at LA club. 16,000 views and climbing. My phone rang. The manager. Don't bother coming back, he said. Ever. You're banned, and you're lucky Garrett's not pressing charges. Tony, please. You know the rules. No drama, no violence, no exceptions." He hung up. I sat there in my platform heels and day-glow bikini, watching the sun think about rising over Los Angeles. 3 years of dancing, gone. My income, gone. My dignity? That had been gone for a while, I just hadn't noticed. A car pulled up. Raven, still in her street clothes. "Get in," she said. I climbed into her ancient Honda, careful not to get glitter on the seats. "Saw the video," she said as we drove. "That group chat. Jesus." "You knew?" "Honey, we all knew. Maybe not the specifics, but we knew. Why do you think I told you about the fantasy? They don't see us as people. We're NPCs in their midlife crisis video game. Then why do we do it? Because the money's good and the hours work, and what else are we going to do?" "You think it's different at an office?" "At least here, the transaction is honest. They want our bodies, we want their money. Nobody pretends it's about love." "Garrett did." "No, honey." "You did. Garrett just played along." She was right. I'd wanted so badly to believe that I was different, special, worth more than the dollar bills in my garter. I'd let myself forget the first rule of stripping. It's all fantasy. The moment you start believing it's real, you've already lost. Raven dropped me at my apartment in Van Nuys. My roommate was asleep. Normal people with normal jobs were asleep. I stood in the shower until the hot water ran out, watching silver glitter swirl down the drain. My phone had 47 messages. The video had gone properly viral now. My real name was in the comments. Someone had done their research. Rebecca Fielding, UCLA extension student. Former honor roll kid from Fresno who'd moved to LA with big dreams and ended up taking her clothes off for money. I deleted my social media accounts, called UCLA and withdrew from my classes. What was the point? Everyone would know now. The girl who went crazy at the strip club. The cautionary tale about sex work and self-delusion. 2 weeks later, I was back in Fresno, living in my childhood bedroom, working at Target for $15 an hour. My mom didn't say "I told you so," but it lived in every glance, every sigh, every gentle suggestion about community college. I saw Garrett one more time. Not in person, on LinkedIn. The promotion announcement. "Thrilled to announce I'm joining our Singapore office as managing director." Hundreds of congratulations in the comments. His profile pic showed him with a woman and 2 teenagers, his family, his real life. There was no separation, no divorce. Probably no Singapore apartment waiting for a broken stripper who'd believed she was worth saving. I thought about messaging his wife, sending her screenshots of the group chat, letting her know what her husband did for fun. But what was the point? She probably already knew, the way we all knew and pretended not to. The transaction was clear. He provided money and stability, she provided respectability and children. Where did a 26-year-old dancer fit into that equation? I didn't message her. I didn't message anyone. I just went to my Target job, scanned groceries, smiled at customers who didn't shove singles into my underwear, and tried to forget the 3 years I'd spent believing that my body was worth something more than what men would pay for it. The truth was simpler and sadder than any viral video could capture. I'd wanted to be seen as a person so badly that I'd let myself unsee the obvious. To them, we were never people. We were fantasies, entertainment, stories to share in group chats. The moment we forgot that, the moment we asked for more, the fantasy shattered. And nobody wants a stripper who breaks the fourth wall. 6 months later, I was restocking shampoo when a coworker mentioned a news story. Some investment banker in LA got arrested, running a prostitution ring or something. Garrett something? I dropped the bottle I was holding. What? She showed me the article on her phone. Garrett Mills, arrested in an FBI sting. Not for prostitution, for insider trading. The group chat had been evidence. 8 investment bankers sharing more than just strip club reviews. They'd been sharing stock tips, merger information, SEC violations worth millions. And there in paragraph 12, evidence included a WhatsApp group where members discussed illegal trades alongside reviews of adult entertainment workers. But there was more. The investigation had uncovered something else. 3 of the men in the chat, including Garrett, had been running their own con. They'd target dancers known for scamming customers, get them emotionally invested, then expose them publicly when they tried to make their move. They called it hunting the hunters. The security footage from Diamonds that night? Garrett had arranged for it to be streamed live to the group. My meltdown, my confession about the fake college story, my rage, it had all been their entertainment. They'd placed bets on how quickly I'd snap, how much damage I'd do. I laughed. Actually laughed there in the shampoo aisle. We'd all been predators circling each other, too focused on our own games to realize we were all being played by someone else. The article mentioned that several dancers had come forward with evidence of extortion, emotional manipulation, and fraud, on both sides. The FBI was now investigating everyone involved. My name was listed among persons of interest. That's when I ran. Packed what little I had, emptied my accounts, and disappeared. Fresno was too close. Hell, California was too close. I ended up in a small town in Montana, working at a truck stop under a name I'd bought off a junkie. The irony wasn't lost on me. I'd gone from making $3,000 a night to making $300 a week, serving coffee to truckers who called me darlin', without slipping 20s in my waistband. My manicured nails were replaced with split cuticles from the harsh soap. My designer heels swapped for orthopedic sneakers. But the FBI wasn't done. 3 months into my Montana exile, I saw my face on the news. Not the viral video, my actual face, my real name. Rebecca Fielding, wanted for wire fraud, identity theft, and conspiracy to commit financial crimes. Turns out, Garrett's group had kept meticulous records. Every con I'd run, every fake identity I'd used, every man I'd destroyed, all documented in their sick game of hunting the hunters. They'd even recorded some of our conversations, me bragging about past scores while Garrett played the lovesick fool. The dentist from Riverside? He'd come forward. His wife had found out about the missing college funds during the divorce proceedings. Suddenly, he wasn't too embarrassed to testify anymore. He wanted blood. Douglas, Kumar, all of them. The FBI had tracked them down. Built a pattern. A 3-year spree of systematic fraud disguised as strip club romance. The fact that my targets were trying to cheat on their wives didn't matter legally. Fraud was fraud. I lasted another 2 months before they found me. Some trucker recognized me from the news, called in the tip for the reward money. They arrested me during the morning shift, right there next to the coffee machines. No dramatic meltdown this time. Just exhaustion and the strange relief of finally being caught. The trial was a circus. The prosecution painted me as a black widow who preyed on vulnerable men. The defense tried to argue I was a victim of sex trafficking, forced into survival mode. Both were wrong. I wasn't forced into anything. I chose every move, every lie, every stolen dollar. And I'd do it again given the chance, just smarter next time. They gave me 5 to 7 years. Same as Garrett, ironically. Sometimes I wonder if he's in the same federal prison system, if we'll cross paths in some rehabilitation program for financial criminals. 2 predators who got so caught up in hunting each other we didn't notice the real hunters closing in. Sometimes I Google myself. The video is still out there, buried under newer scandals. Crazy stripper goes nuts. 2 million views now. The comments are about what you'd expect, but they don't know the whole story. They don't know that before Diamonds, I'd already burned through 3 other clubs with similar explosions when Marks discovered my games. My name is Rebecca Fielding. I'm 27 years old. I'm a predator who got out-predatored, and it still burns. I used to be Destiny, the girl who made men believe she loved them while she destroyed their lives. The lights came on at 3 a.m. that night at Diamonds, but I learned the wrong lesson. Instead of seeing it as a wake-up call, I saw it as a challenge. Next time, be smarter. Next time, don't get caught. Next time, find marks who aren't running their own games. Prison gives you a lot of time to think, to plan, to network with other women who understand that the world owes us more than minimum wage and condescension. There's a whole sisterhood in here. Fraud artists, identity thieves, embezzlers. We share stories, techniques, warnings about which cities have the best marks and the worst surveillance. When I get out, I'll be smarter. No more strip clubs. Too visible, too regulated. Maybe online camming, where the really lonely ones lurk. Maybe sugar baby websites, where desperation comes with a higher price tag. Maybe cryptocurrency scams, where the money's cleaner and the trail's harder to follow. The game doesn't end just because you got caught once. It just evolves. Garrett and his buddies thought they were teaching me a lesson. All they did was show me I needed to upgrade my skills. Next time, I won't be the small-time stripper running amateur cons on married men. I'll be something worse. Something they helped create. The lights came on at 3 a.m. and showed me what I was. A parasite, a predator, a player in a game I was losing. But games can be won with the right strategy. And I've got 3 to 5 years to plan my comeback. Watch your backs, boys. Destiny's dead, but whatever I become next, she'll be magnificent.